Greetings and salutations. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on the area of a circle. So this question is asking us to find the area and circumference of A and B. Okay, let's focus on A first. So this looks like a sector of a circle. The radius is 15 centimeters and it tells us that pi is equal to 3.14. By doing this, we know that a circle holds 360 degrees. We are trying to find one sector of it. Well, we know that one sector is 90 degrees, and you may ask why. This little L shape, it's not exactly an L shape, but it looks like one, indicates that this is a 90-degree angle, and this is a right angle, and a right angle is 90 degrees. So we are trying to find 90 degrees. This is what we are trying to find, one sector of a whole circle. So now that we know this so far, we can multiply this by 706.86 all over 1. So we can multiply this out to get 90 degrees. Then once you multiply this out, you should get 176.715 centimeters squared. So then this is the area. So area is equal to 176.715 centimeters squared. So this is the first part done because we have to find the area and the circumference. So this is the area of the sector alone. Now we have to find the circumference. So to find the circumference, let's just double check if we even know what a circumference is. So with a circle, we already know that this is a sector, but the circumference is what basically surrounds the whole circle. So it's literally this part all around the circle. If I were to draw a circle right now, this is the whole circumference. It's not everything what's within, it is what's surrounding outside. Think, for example, this is a garden, right? This circle is a garden, and around it we need a fence. That fence is the circumference, okay? So to find the circumference of a circle, the area is 2 pi r. So 2 pi r. So we already know pi, radius is 15, so we'll just put that in. And then you could solve further and you can do 30 pi, because 15 multiplied by 2 is 30, so 30 pi. So 30 multiplied by pi gives you 94.2 centimeters. The reason why it is not centimeters is because it is the perimeter. The circumference is also the perimeter. So we're not dealing with area. With area, you're always squaring the unit. With perimeter, you are never squaring the unit. This is the circumference of the whole circle, but we are trying to find a sector of it. So we're only trying to find this amount of the sector. And some people may say that, well, can't you just take this and divide it by 4 instead of multiplying this all out? You can. You essentially can. That is the easy way to do it. But you kind of have to get into the practice of dealing with angles and things like that. We also advise with 30 pi, never put into the calculator 30 multiplied by 3.14 because that will be incorrect. Well, it would be very close. Don't get into the practice of doing 30.3.14 because pi is not just 3.14. It is an ongoing, receding number. The decimals go on and on and on. So if you were just to round it up at the start, you wouldn't get an accurate answer. And as mentioned, rounding up in the middle of your workings out will affect your overall answer. So do not round this up. So as I was saying, of course you can divide it by 4. There is really nothing wrong with that. So you could go 94.2 centimeters, divide it by 4 because a sector is a quarter of a circle, divide by 4, and you should get 23.55 centimeters. You can, or you can do what I did in the first part of the question. So circumference, you know that you need to find 90 degrees of 360 degrees of the whole circle. So you can multiply that out by 94.2 all over 1. Multiplying that out onto the calculator should give you 93.55 centimeters. So you essentially do get the same answer, but it doesn't really matter which way you do it. So, and that is our answer for circumference. Now, for B, we're dealing with not a sector, but half of a circle, okay? So we have to find the area and the circumference of this part of the circle, but note, here it's telling us that pi is not equivalent to 3.14 like it did in the first part of the question. It is telling us that pi is equivalent to 22 over 7. So let's note that. So pi is equal to 22 over 7. Now let's find the area of the circle, okay? Here, it's telling us that the diameter is 10 meters. Okay, this is what we know so far. Now let's drive off what we already know. So to find the area, the formula for area is pi r squared. So pi, what is our radius? This is where the problem comes in. We have been told that this is the diameter. Now, the diameter is exactly half of the whole circle. The diameter goes straight across the circle. It goes all the way half, but the radius is half the diameter, so it only goes about this length. But the diameter goes the full way, but we only need half. So, really, radius, but you have the diameter, you could just do the diameter divide by 2 because it's like doubled. But if you're trying to find the diameter, you can just do radius squared, if that makes sense. So we have the diameter, so we have the diameter, but we need to find the radius, so we must do diameter divided by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 5 is our radius, and we are given 5 squared. So 5 squared is 25, so 25 pi, and we are told that pi has the value of 22 over 7. So 25 multiplied by 22 over 7, which should give us 78.57 meters squared. Keep note of the unit. So this is the area of the full circle. Problem is we need half of it, okay? So let's stick with the angles and multiplying it out. So let's do what we did firstly. So area, we need to find half of the circle. So this angle is 180 degrees. A full circle, okay, I'm going to draw another circle. The full circle is 360 degrees, okay? Half is 180. Reason why? 360 divided by 2 is 180. So this is half, okay? A sector is 90. Why? 180 degrees divided by 2 gives us 90. And then so on and so forth. So half of a circle is 180 degrees. So we are trying to find 180 degrees over 360 degrees, which is the full circle, which we already know because we have the area of the full circle. So if you have to multiply this out by 78.57 over 1, because this is the area of the full circle, we're trying to find half of the area of the circle. So this should give us 39.29 meters squared. Now you could also do 78.57 divided by 2, because this is half, divided by 2, and you should get the same, 39.29 meters squared. Okay, now that we have found the area, we must find the circumference. So to find the circumference, our formula is 2 pi r. So 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by a radius, and our radius is 5. So that should give us 10 pi. And now we are told that pi is equivalent to 22 over 7. So pi multiplied by 22 over 7, and that should give us 31.42 meters. Remember, we're not squaring the unit because this is perimeter. We know that this is the circumference of the full circle, but we are trying to find only half of it. So we are going to 180 degrees over 360 degrees multiplied by 31.42 all over 1, and you should get 15.71 meters. Or you could also do 31.42 divided by 2 because it is half, and that should give you 15.71 meters, the exact same. And that is that. Thank you for watching.